brightness. The brightness of it all. Okay. All right, folks. Let's give this a few minutes to start getting some people in here. Once you join, if you wouldn't mind, just comment down below, and we will get off to the races here shortly. I'm going to be doing another live reading of the Havamal this evening, picking up kind of where we left off. Okay, so we've got several people saying hail and hello, hey, and welcome to everybody. Good to see you all. Let me just do a little thing here. Ilshini, Caleb Gilcock, hello, hail and welcome to everybody. Appreciate you all tuning in on this Friday night live stream. Texas Ranch Witch, hello, hail and welcome to you. For anybody that is watching and not yet commented, please do so. Love to hear from you. Hello, Kristen Louise says hello. Yes, hail and hello. Also, please share the video. I'd like to get some folks in here to kind of pick up where we left off last time. I did a reading of the Havamal in, as you can tell, but in the title of this video, it is in Old Norse and English. So can everybody hear me okay? Is it looking good, sounding good? Just wanting to make sure that all of that is as it should be. Making sure that we're not running into any technical difficulties. Says sounds good. All right, good. Then we are clear to go off. And I'm doing a little bit different this time around because I don't have audio like sharing going on, so I don't have like a background track or music or whatever playing, kind of like we did last time. But it's a little bit different tonight too. I'm not going to be streaming for as long because I do have some plans with my wife here later on this evening. So we're going to try to spend some time with each other after this. But as I recall, hail and hello to you, Casey Watts. Thank you all for tuning in so much. If you aren't yet a subscriber to Midgard Musings and you're into Norse paganism or Nordic paganism, Germanic heathenry is often, some of these terms are very specific to a lot of people, and some of them just get lumped into an overall categorization, But I also do the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast. If you're not a subscriber here on the channel, but you catch it onto the platforms, thank you so much for your support. Would greatly appreciate your support in the form of a subscription. You can also check the description down below for all the other ways that you can support. Following my various social medias, becoming a patron on Patreon, becoming a channel member, all of that kind of fun stuff. But let's without further ado, let's get into where we kind of left off last week now, without going back and listening to the last 2 hour plus long live stream, whatever it was. I want to say we ended somewhere around stanza 29 or on stanza 29. Yeah, that sounds about right. Or at least that's what I'm going to go by. It's either stanza 28 or 29. I'm going to look ahead a little bit here and see if I can. Yeah, it sounds about right, because we ended on the note was, it's best for a fool to keep his mouth shut. Among other people, no one knows that he will know nothing if he says nothing, and an ignorant man doesn't know how little he knows, no matter how much he talks. You will seem wise if you know the answer and know how to explain it. People are not able to keep a secret of what they hear about other people. And that was stanza 28, which in Old Norse was Froður so thykisk erfregnakan oxigya itsama evitulena mego ita sinir thvi erginger unguma. All good on my end. Long time no see. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, long time no see. I do these. This is the second like live Havamal readings. I just kind of like randomly did one. I think it was last week and something like that. So this is or about a week ago. It might have been Sunday. I don't remember exactly when, but anywho, here we are again to kind of pick up where we left off. So let's start with stanza 29, and we'll probably read about. We'll probably read about. Let's see, 29. Let's read about 10 stanzas and go to stanza 40 tonight. Won't be a very long live stream, but then we'll do these. We'll read through the Havamal, or I will read through the Havamal. This is the Jackson Crawford Wanderers Havamal. So if you are an owner of this and you would like to read along, feel free to go ahead and grab your copy and read along with me. I am by no means an official professional with reading Old Norse. I do the best that I can based on what I know. There are some words and there are some things that still kind of hang up for me or that I still get hung up on. But I do the best that I can. And how much, what could we ask of anybody except to do their best? So I feel like the only way to get better at something is to practice it and to do the repeated action, you know? So let's see where we go. Stanza 29. Urmamelir so evathegir, stedesu stofi, hreif meir tunga, nemer heldenir egi, oppreser öget gilder. You will say plenty of nothing with all your talking if you never close your mouth. A hasty tongue, unless it's disciplined, often earns its owner punishment. It's like that old saying goes, right? Don't write. What is it? It's something about like don't write checks at your mouth. Don't write checks with your mouth that your actions aren't able to cash. Something like that. You know, it's you're gonna start being a little bit too liberal with the yakking of the jaw. You may find yourself getting your self rocked here and there. All right. So the next stanza 30. Out augabragi skola onen hoffa thot tilkinis komi. Marga thot froder dykisk. If han frigen art. Ok ne han thurfjaller thrume. No one should ridicule anyone else, even if he comes visiting. Many a man seems wise if he is never questioned, and he gets to brood with dry skin. It's an interesting version of that interesting thing. Hello there, Biohazard. Good evening to you. I'll recall another A in that quote. Very well could be, yes. Which one? The one that I just read. But no one should ridicule anyone else, even if he comes visiting. Many a man may seem wise if he is never questioned, and he gets to brood with dry skin. Yeah, I've been guilty of this. No one should ridicule anyone else, even if he comes visiting. You know, you're a guest, and you've been asked to talk about things, or you may be friends with somebody. And I've been guilty of ridiculing my own friends in seemingly good-hearted, ribbing, as it were, or just being a bit brash with them and then stuff. But I've crossed some lines, and I've had to get checked about it, and learn that hey, there's certain things that you just don't go on. Someone's religion, being one of them. Just as an example, real quick. My best friend, one of my best friends, I was on a phone call with him and another one of my friends who is a brother of mine. They're actually, this was like a brotherly conversation. These are brothers of mine, people who are not related to me, but who I would definitely refer to as kin. And this one brother of mine is definitely not pagan. He's not heathen, but he's also a bit alternative in his approach to religion. But he claims himself as Christian. And I was sitting there talking with him and another brother of mine on the phone, and I sat there and I said, you think you're Christian and you're not, I said, you're the most non-Christian, you're the most pagan Christian that I've ever met. And I started giving him, some real like pointed ideas or opinions of what I thought. And I just found out like the other day, he's like, man, that really hurt that you would, uh, let's say threaten, but challenge his religion or challenge his beliefs. And I go, man, I said, I never meant to come across that way. I said, if anything, I was, just pointing out what I felt was like, you're not the typical Christian. You're not the typical person who I would say is your textbook Christian. He's very alternative, looks at life in a very much of a different way. And so, it wasn't meant to be offensive, but I do understand now that it was offensive. And I had to, kind of get caught in that and get called out in that. And he did. And I apologized. So anyway, it's not good to ridicule someone else, even when you're best friends. Sometimes there's certain areas that you just don't go. Caleb says they're a fast talker. If someone is willing to listen, can go on for hours. Yeah, there's plenty of people I know like that. Friends of mine who, um, there's another YouTuber here. If you're not familiar with him, Caleb, Eric Shervin, Eric Word Weaver. That is who he is known as on YouTube. Is Eric Word Weaver Shervin. He has a YouTube channel, and his stuff is called The Raven's Call. Very, very smart man, very knowledgeable in heathenry. He's been doing it his whole life. But he is affectionately referred to as the wordy bastard, the word weaver. He's one of the ones that can just go on for hours. He's got a way with weaving words. So no problem, Kristen. Thank you for listening. I feel like it can be a learning lesson for a lot of us. All right. Next on 31. Let's see. Froder tykisk, så flottar tekur, gister at gest heden. Vet gurle, så omvärdig liser. Fått han med grumnum glomi. A man may seem wise if he pokes fun at another. Here we go. And disdains a fellow guest. But the man who talks behind another man's back knows little, even if he laughs with men. Don't be the one that, and I've never been one to do this. I've been the victim of this. Yeah, but don't go around talking about people behind their back. If I got something to say about you, if I got something like my friend, like I said, I said some things that were out of line, but at least I said it to his face, as it were. We were on a phone call. I wasn't like, hey, man, check out this dude, talking to somebody else about him, unbeknownst to him, without him knowing behind his back. I was at least upfront and transparent and honest and upfront with him and said, hey, this is what I think. And, if you're going to say anything, at least be upfront about it and then learn your lesson in the interim. Stanza 32. Gumnar margir irusk gagenholir init virdi rekesk alderrog thot mum ervera orirgester vid geest. Halen, welcome to Deuces Wild, who just became a channel member at the Hufdingi level, which is the king/queen level. So hail and hello to you, Deuces Wild. Thank you for your pledge to become a channel member. It is much appreciated, and thank you so much. So that translation of the stanza 32 in English is that many men are kind to one another, but will fight at a feast. There will always be conflict between men. A guest will fight a guest. Stanza 33. Let's see. Ordliger vänner, skili oper få, nemma till kines komi. Sitter och snopir, leter sem solin sig, och kon fregna åt få. You should eat your meals early unless you're visiting a friend. A hungry man sits and gets sluggish, and his wits are impaired. I've for anybody that's like followed me for any length of time, I do have a very keen approach, or I've had for the last several years a keen approach to my health and wellness. Was a member for a while before. Oh, Troy Hartman. All right, man. Well, good to see you back. Change your username. It's great to see you. Great to see you back, and welcome. Good to see a familiar virtual face, as it were. But anyways, the approach and the focus I've had on my health and wellness has slipped off of the trail for a bit. You know, I kind of fell off that wagon, and I've recently picked it back up and taken an approach to do better for myself. And one of the things, oddly enough, is that I'm eating less. I'm eating early. Unless I'm visiting a friend or going out for an occasion or doing something, I'm not eating as late. And I'm also watching my portions, and I'm trying to get out and be more active. And in the last week and a half, I've lost nearly 10 pounds just because of that. So there's some benefit to that. Like there's more, you know, it's more, what do you call it? It's more truth than poetry. It definitely makes a difference. The next stanza is one of my favoriteest of stanzas in the Havamal. Thank you, Kristen. It says, uh, let's see here. Af vaf mikit til ins vinar, thot brautabul, in til goths vinarligia gagenvegir, gagenvegir, thot han serfir farin. It's a long and crooked walk to a bad friend, even if he lives nearby. But it's an easy road to a good friend, no matter how long the journey. This is again one of my most favorite of stanzas because I've had long distance friends. I have friends. Most of my friends and nearest and dearest of friends of mine, the people who I refer to again as brother, are 30 plus miles away from me. And then I've had also people who I thought were friends that lived right down the road that turned out to be not so. So the distance doesn't make the friend, and quite honestly, you will see in many cases that your friends, the people who you trust the most, the people who you become more um, intertwined with, are the ones that are a longer distance away, and that doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. No matter how long the journey, it is an easy road to a good friend. You know, Caleb says that Thor is trying to get me to eat more because uh, haven't been to save on groceries. Yeah. Well, Thor is one of those types to challenge you and to be the the boldest and the brashest, and it's action first, think later. Um, Not always tactical. Thor's is not known to be the most tactical one. He is the one to get shit done when it needs to get done. But his approach has been, smash first, think later. All right, stanza 35. Gonga skala gestirvere I enum stad. Lífjörverða leiður ef lengi sitt honors fletjamo. You should keep moving. You should never be a guest forever in any one place. Your welcome will wear out if you stay too long beneath another's roof. Um, I'm the type to, when I host a gathering, when I am the host, I am never the one to turn someone away. If anything, my wife has been the one to be like, you got to get these people to leave. They're out. We're staying. They're welcome. Get them to go, because I love the company. I love to indulge in that camaraderie, that friendship, that that sort of thing. But it is a wise thing to be aware of, especially as a guest, as someone who attends an event or something in someone else's home. Be respectful of their time and don't overstay. Don't outwear your welcome. Stanza 36. Bur berra thot litse hol see holler her is it holler? Yeah, holler hema hver. Thot ver getir egi och taugrepen sol thot tho betra buln. It's better to have a home, even if it's little. Everyone should call somewhere home. Even if you own just two goats beneath a faulty roof, that's still better than begging. And I will say for sure that in my life, and especially probably within the last close to 20 years, having been in situations where I've lived in other people's homes for periods of time, having nothing but a couch or whatever to sleep on, and then having the most raggedest of abodes, just the most dilapidated house, structure to live in. I always felt better about having something of my own, something that I could come and go as I please and not feel as restricted or as under the rules and regulations of the owner of the house that I was living in. It's better to have that, and then you always have the opportunity to better it and make the thing that you own or that you have or that you live in better, no matter how seemingly small it is, no matter how humble or modest it might be. To call something your own, to have a place that you can come home to, um, is a wonderful thing. Hello, Journey with Ivor, and hello, Fjolvatir. Speaking of brothers, there's my brother. Popping in to listen for a few minutes while I have a break to sit. Very cool. This is, we just finished reading stanza 36. We're going to get to stanza 40, and then I myself am going to end the live stream to spend time with my family. Caught the live, yes. Sounds like your house needs many repairs. Well, that's great. And the neat thing about that is that when you have a place to give that sort of attention to, you are investing into it. You are putting time and effort and things into it that make it more valuable to you. And I think that's what part of what the stanza is saying here is that it's better to have something like that. It's better to have a little or humble thing because again, it's something that you can invest in. It's something that you can invest your time in, not just invest in as far as money goes, but invest in your time. It's kind of like when I've talked before about, gardening, tending to the yard, all that kind of stuff. Like there's reward and there's a feeling of reward in participating in doing things like that because it brings a sense of accomplishment and pride in what you have. So it doesn't have to be extravagant, it doesn't have to be much, but it is yours and you have the pride in that. Okay, the next one of my other favoriteest of stanzas. We're hitting some favorites tonight. Stanza 38. All right, so Vapnum sinum skål av vilio, fetti ganga framar, því at ovist er avita, sorry, nerverder avegnum uti, gers thorf guma. Never go, even a slight step, without a weapon at your side. You never know when you might find yourself in need of a spear. Yes, indeed, Journey with Ivor, the Havamal. Watering your garden at the moment. Very cool. So we are having people all over the country listening and doing different things. We have Fjalvatir, which if you don't know, J.M. Olafson and his wife Cindy make and craft wonderful ritual items, handcrafted, handmade, made from animals and naturally resourced and naturally sourced items from animal skins, bones, um, trees, all sorts of things. I own many of his relics. The drum that you see over here is a tribal relic of Lluridi folk. The rattle that's over there, I might bring it out the next time. It's a bearskin rattle that makes wonderful items. Fjalvatir.com, check them out. Never go anywhere or never go a step too far without a weapon at your side. Always be prepared for the worst, right? It's that old Boy Scouts thing. Be prepared. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it not have it. And nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, it is the most truth I think we can hear with the way the world is and the uncertainty of things and the danger that lurks around every corner. There's so much. If you have anything to do with the world around you, the places around you. Hello, Corey Thomas. Hail to you. Gonna acknowledge you here in just a moment. Just want to say people that start popping in the chat and say hi. Hail and welcome and thank you. But yes, as the world has become a place of uncertainty and even more danger and things like that, it is better to be armed and ready to answer a call to protect. And because why would you, if you have the ability to, why would you not? Why would you be the one that is left cowering or that is left unprepared to defend and to fight? So back in the day, it was spears and swords. Now in the day, it could be knives or firearms or things. It's definitely something to consider. Um, I can't say I carry a weapon on your person. I mean, do I don't think I used to be like this was like almost like religiously something that I followed. I wouldn't even leave the house, not even to go if it was like I got to go get gas in my car. I wouldn't leave without taking some sort of weapon on me. I've also got hand-to-hand combat training and martial arts training. So it's like, well, you could argue the fact that even if you don't have an object, the world around you is an object. When you study some of the things that I've studied, anything can be a weapon. Literally anything around you can be a weapon. Um, but the idea is that if it's a weapon that you know and that you are proficient with, carry it with you. Um, Scout's motto: always be prepared. Right? Corey gets crap from relatives, but I always keep a knife on me. Yeah, I mean, I might be like in my jogging pants or shorts and flip flops or whatever, and I used to always have a knife on me. Um, this is a good reminder. Just come back to the transparency and honesty. It's a good thing to do. You never know when you just might need something. If you carried a knife on me, you think it would end up being used on me than by me. Uh, well, I sure hope not. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if when we are presented with a situation where we have to take action, instinct takes over. There are primal survival instincts in all of us. Don't sell yourself short. Um, yeah, I'd rather be a fool to carry water and not need it than to be a fool who hasn't brought any and walks thirsty. Exactly. Good morning to you. It's Ganglitty. Ganglitty calling in or checking in, saying good morning. And as I recall, you are in Europe somewhere. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly which country, but it is morning for you. Early morning, as I recall. Um, European sector of about 5 or 6 hour ahead of us. So good morning to you. All right. So two more stanzas to go, and then we're going to wrap things up and go on with the rest of our nights and evenings. And I hope you're all having a wonderful one. Thank you so much. 11 people watching. That's great. It's been a while since we've had double digits maintain and stay for such live streams, but I'm glad to see that, and I hope to see more of these types of things. All right, so let's get into it. Stanza 39, and then one more after that. We'll get through stanza 39 and read stanza 40. So stanza 39. Fonk og ek miljon man edha svar maturgården, och veri thigja feger edha sins fjär, svagjoffen, och led se laun e fegi. I have never met a man so generous, nor so hospitable that he would not welcome repayment, nor have I met a man so giving that he'd run down a thing offered in return. Yeah, this is true, even the most generous of gifters, even the most kindest of hearts, a gift expects a gift, you know, pay gifts with gifts. Um, and even the most generous expect something in return. So don't think that just because, you know, maybe somebody that you know or have been exposed to is that generous that they don't look for something in return. There is always a gift that seeks a gift in return to keep that balance going, right? To keep things in check in that sort of way. Used to be the same about books. Good to have an escape in a crowd of family. Yeah, absolutely and definitely. All right, folks. The final stanza of the night is going to be stanza 40, and it's a good one. So, Fjorsins fingirherf skilit thorf thola. Obsparier ledum thots hefer litufum huget mar gengr ver in varier. Do not be so sparing in using your money that you don't use it for your own needs. Often what you save for your children will end up in the hands of your enemies. Many things will go worse than you expect. This is, I think, one of those things where you're here for a certain amount of time. You want to be thoughtful and considerate of what you have lined up or saved up for the future. How you feed the well and what you put in, that is going to be part of what we do in Verdandi shapes school. Verdandi and school being the three norns. So past, present, future, what was, what is, and what shall be. We do in Verdandi. We are living in Verdandi. We exist in the Verdandi. We learn from Urd, and that helps what we do now, and what we have learned shapes the Shud, the what should, what could, and what shall be. But it needs to be thought of, right? That we do not be so sparing, that we do not be so stingy, that we are not taking care of the things in the now, in the Verdandi, that we have potentially given over things into the hands of those who do not earn it or have not deserved it. So you are living in the now. Think about the future, but do not think so far ahead that the now, and the here and the now, and the time and the now is being, compromised. Um, leave a legacy. You have absolutely every capability within you to leave a legacy behind. Just because um, you think of yourself as one particular thing does not mean that you yourself are not destined for greatness. That you yourself cannot put a ripple that echoes into the Shud. You know, I think of it oftentimes as the pebble that hits the water, that ripple effect. In that moment, it looks like nothing, and then it ripples out, and next thing you know, it can become waves, and those waves can change lives. So a little thing that you do now, a word that you say, an action that you take, you know, a penny that you put aside, a dollar that you give, could be that ripple, could be that pebble in the pond that creates the ripple to change something in the long term. We need to put ourselves. We do. We it's not even a need. It's we already are. We already are inserted into many different webs throughout life. Our interactions, um, the way that we are tied with people, friends, families, tribesmen, tribeswomen, kinsmen, kinswomen, kindreds, all these types of connections, all these types of relations that we have with people, um, have an effect on those lives. And the things that we are experiencing right now would not have been experienced if the pebble didn't drop into the water first, if the live stream didn't start, if I didn't pick up the book, if I didn't set up my station here to broadcast in this way. If that pebble didn't drop into the pond, then none of this would have taken effect. You know. So thank you, Troy. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Caleb. Um, Lovely to see you all. Lovely to hear your feedback. I appreciate it. And like Kristen says, upvote it. Guys, give it a thumbs up. Believe it or not, these types of things help the algorithm. If you like what you hear and what you see, that share button that's down there too will also help. A lot of you are on your own social media platforms. Grab that link, pop it out there, let people know that this is kind of the thing that we do. Regularly and on time every week, every Thursday morning, there is the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast that premieres right here on YouTube, as well as all of your other major podcast streaming sites. But we do these types of things here periodically as well, where I will read from the Havamal, which is a very new thing. I also have done a gaming live stream. The Plague Inc. gaming live stream was a fun thing, is a fun thing. We'll do it again. Wherein I play Plague Inc. It's a fun game to try to wipe out humanity with a deadly virus and all this kind of fun stuff. And we're going to listen to music in the background. We're going to talk about pagan things and ask questions and engage in this sort of way. It's fun and it's engaging. Um, won't have any descendants, no kids. I disagree. I myself also have no kids of my own living, but I do have kin. I do have people who are triathmen. I do have people who my legacy, my story will be sung when I am gone. They may not be blood kin to me, but I will be an ancestor. I will be an ancestor. We all will. And ancestry doesn't necessarily mean blood. We may talk about that one day. You know, the whole adoption thing, the whole being grafted into a family, oathing into families, that sort of thing. Stepkids, whatever. All these various dynamics of familial ties have been a thing and are a thing now. So to think that you will not have any descendants, that you will not be an ancestor, don't disregard yourself the privilege of having such a thing happen for you one day. Um, Plague the world, right? Um, Evenings count, but to understand, was about to say oathing. Yes, yes, exactly. Be someone your descendants will be proud of. Exactly. I mean, we live in saga times, ladies and gentlemen, and I will close on that. We live in saga times. Would be an excellent topic to delve into further, ancestry and that sort of thing. Yeah, um, definitely agree. Definitely agree. So, we do have some things lined up for the future Random Heathen Ramblings podcast, an actual really exciting one coming up in July with a very fun guest. Don't want to drop too much information on that just yet, because the specifics haven't been exactly ironed out or whatever, but I think it's going to be a fun one. But this is awesome. Glad to hear the feedback. But yeah, we do. We live in saga times. Um, there will be stories spoken about the world that we live in now in years to come. We are writing those sagas. We are potentially parts of the sagas that are being written now, whether we are heroes, villains, um, whatever. You know, we have a part to play and we have something that we can do. And I for sure want to be written down in those annals of history and be mentioned in whatever saga. You know, it doesn't have to be an elaborate one, but just a story, something that is told. You know, as we close out the today's live stream, I'll just say this. You know, little things matter. When I go on my daily walks, I've started to take on a barefoot nature walk each day, whether as long as it's not pouring down rain or whatever. But I've started to do that. It's been so helpful. It's been so healing. Today was slightly different in that I didn't go barefoot walking, but I did take my infant niece. She's about to be 9 months old, and we went for a walk. And um, I say a walk, I mean, she was in her stroller, but I was walking with her. We bonded in that way. We bonded in nature. We were sitting by Stones River. We observed the nature around us. We breathed in that air. We interacted in that way and we bonded in that way. You know, those are the things that I'm talking about. Those are the pebbles that get dropped into the pond. Not everybody's going to know about stuff like that you do per se, you know, and I'm not going to talk about every little thing that I do either, but those little moments, those seeds that get planted become the thing that in your own family sagas, in your own family stuff, is going to echo into eternity, echo on into life. Um, what are shoes, right? Take care, Cassie. Take care. And then Murfreesboro Music Scene is posting. Speaking of, as I wrap up this live stream, Murfreesboro Music Scene is my lovely and esteemed wife, who I'm going to be spending time with now for the rest of the evening. We are the change we wish to see in the world. 100%. I mean, don't think any less of that. Be the change you wish to see. Yes. So it is. It's wonderful to see everyone and to be engaged in this sort of way. Thank you so much for your support. Great to see you back here, Troy. Thank you for becoming another, returning as a channel member and supporting in that way. For anybody else that's interested, that's watching, there are different tiers that you can become a channel member on. And if you want to even support less, click the Linktree link that's down in the description of this video. There's a Patreon site. You can support this channel for as little as $1 a month at the Carl level. It is the most awesome and sincere way that you can support this channel because it is the most sustainable for what's costs less than a cup of coffee these days. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming and being a part of tonight's Havamal lessons, live stream, reading in Old Norse and English. I appreciate all of you. And until we talk again, hail. Stay safe, stay healthy. May the gods notice you, and may your ancestors continue to smile upon you. Thank you so much.